Hi, this is Brady Pond, and this is my mock interview number 2. Um, we'll answer some questions and hope to elicit your feedback. The first question, what does the data tell you about student achievement? Specifically, are there gaps or areas for improvement, and what are the strengths? Looking at the data that was given, it looks like there has been a lot of strengths going on in the past year. There's a lot of proficiency improvement by percentage amongst minority students. Also, a progress with proficiency in English language learners. And it looks like there are good progress with the 3rd and 4th graders. The deficiencies seem to lie a little bit in the middle grades, 5th and 6th grade. Also, it looks like the white population has decreased over the past year, which shows it as somewhat of a weakness. Second question, what other data would you need to help you make informed decisions? Are there other key indicators that you would focus on in reviewing your data? Are there key stakeholders that will be included in your approach? Answering that last question, there's got to be a lot of collaboration, working with students, working with other teachers, the cohorts, the department leads, the people that are in the ground working with these students. I think you need to involve as many people as possible, even up to parents, and getting their feedback from them. Other key indicators I would focus on is, classroom sizes. I would worry about professional development, making sure our teachers are adequately prepared to teach and they have the resources available to them. Other data that I think would be pretty proficient would be that class size. It would also want to look at the other things that go into the proficiency ratings, demographics, the statistics that way, the funding that have gone into this, to see where those scores have gone. Based on your findings, what would your recommendations be to address the gaps or areas of improvement? I definitely would push for professional development, and not just the cookie cutter professional development. I would definitely work with those teachers and figure out why maybe the 5th and 6th graders, the 5th and 6th graders have a higher percentage of minimally proficient students. That way we can see their feedback and see what it is that they feel like they're lacking, and get them the resources that they need to be successful. I would also work with those stakeholders, whether it be the parents, whether it be the students, and kind of see what works for them so that we can address these gaps. I would try to use some of this data from how it was broken down by race, and figure out what has been so successful for some of these other students. Obviously, this is a made-up school, but at the same time, you can see a lot of this stuff, trickling down to different races and figuring out why that is. The next question, how will you measure the success of your plan? How will you monitor progress throughout the year? And at what point and by what measure will you change your action steps? What will you do if the plan doesn't work, and when would this determination be made? I think you measure success by the reaction, the buy-in from the teachers, the staff. As a leader, if people are putting forth a valiant effort, I think when you do those things, the results take care of themselves. The measurement of success will be that the increase in the proficiency, but also as students progress in the culture of your school. You monitor that progress throughout the year by being open and having an open door process with your staff. I think that it's important that you follow through and you follow up. The best principals I've ever worked for are those that if a teacher comes to them with a concern, they don't just brush it aside. They figure out what it is to do, what do they need to do to solve that problem, and then follow up with them with the answer to that question. Don't just leave the teachers hanging. At what point and by what measure will you change your action steps? I think that you change it and you adapt it and you mold it according to the needs of the kids, according to the needs of the teachers, the staff. it's very important that we're not stubborn and we're not bullheaded. And if something's not working, we need to be humble enough to ask for that feedback and to figure out what it is we can do to change that path. I think that sometimes leaders get prideful. They think their way is the best way, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. But I think the most important thing is when it doesn't work out, you need to hurry and change that and figure out what it is that will work. I truly believe in using teachers as a resource. Teachers are always there. They're in the classroom every day. Why not use them as a resource? They're going to know what their kids need. They're going to know how and what they need to get those kids to meet the goals that they need to meet. What will I do if the plan doesn't work, and when would that determination be made? Just like I said, it's got to be something that if it's not working, it's not working. It doesn't make sense to go down a path that's not working, especially if you don't have any teacher buy-in, if you don't have the ability to motivate the students and get the students where they need to be. You have to change course. And it doesn't matter even if it's after a month. You can't be stubborn and bullheaded, and you can't think that your way is the only way. You've got to use the resources that you have. You got to use the experiences from other teachers, from the administration staff, from department leads, from the PTA, from all those other places, so that you can, find what works best for that situation. It could change year over year. The dynamic of a class, the dynamic of a the dynamic of a school changes year to year, I think. So you need to be able to be flexible and adaptable. How will you celebrate and recognize success? I think that you celebrate and recognize success every time it happens. I think that too often we wait till the end of the year, we name a teacher of the year, we recognize students of the year, things like that. I think that you celebrate successes as they come, and you recognize the little things that are happening, not necessarily the test scores, and not necessarily the test scores or the proficiency ratings or the data sheets that we see, but when you see something really cool happening in a classroom, you pass that information on, you give that teacher a kudos, and you pass that information on to the staff, and that builds the morale of the teachers because they're saying, hey, this principal recognizes me for what I'm doing, the hard work that I'm putting in. And that's not why we teach, but that's always a nice little addition when we get that recognition from our teachers. So I think you celebrate the little successes, you share it with other people, and you collaborate. I mean, the greatest compliment I can receive as a teacher is, hey, I really like what you're doing. How do you do it? Give me some advice or give me some tips, and I hope that I'm the type of educator that will be that way, not only recognizing but asking for those things. Hey, what are you doing? How are you being successful, and how are you getting these results, and being able to mold my leadership style to that type of thing. Those are my questions. Thank you for listening. If you made it this far, appreciate you. I'll be commenting on a couple people's feedback, but have a good rest of the week.